Search all. This podcast is at the basic level. It requires no knowledge of Accordance Bible software, nor Hebrew or Greek. Accordance's Search All is like having your very own research assistant. It scans your entire library or a select portion of your library for a word, a phrase, or a reference. It then assembles a list of hits for your consideration, all in less time than it takes to take a sip of coffee. Version 9 Search All is even faster and easier to use. Today we'll cover this improved function at Accordance and see how to save hours researching difficult topics. The search icon is located at the bottom left of the resource palette, which I've collapsed here to save space. To use it, first select a word, phrase, or reference, then click and drag to search either the current module or one of the Search All groups. The Search All groups are pretty intuitive. All means every text and tool in our library, while all text includes all Bibles and every other original text in the library. All tools means every tool in the library, whether that's English, Greek, Hebrew, or general. And Search All can also be used with custom groups, which are automatically added every time we make a new folder under My Groups. We covered that in last week's podcast, number 40. Here's one of the slides from that podcast showing the relationship between My Groups and Search All. Of course, these same options are also all available using Accordance's contextual menu. Just select any word and right-click or control-click to access the menu. Few users are aware of just how powerful Accordance's Search All function is, or why our modules are preferred by scholars around the world. Here's one of the reasons why. Here at Accordance, we don't just take a raw e-text, slap our name on it, and sell it. Instead, we go through the text and assign each bit of data to a specific search field. For example, there are over a dozen different fields in the Word Biblical Commentary. Now, this coding takes some time, which is why we aren't always the first to market a new resource. However, when our users do get it, they can search it in ways users of other software can only dream about. How does this relate to Search All? Search All searches every relevant field, not just one of them. For instance, search a commentary for a reference. Accordance doesn't just find the main entry, but all of the references to that passage in the main text. Search for a word. Search All searches titles, English content, translation, translation notes, and the bibliography. Our users can easily find hundreds of references not accessible to others. Here's an example. While there's only one title in Word Biblical Commentary that uses the word waters, the word itself appears 767 times elsewhere in the commentary series. In the same way, when you search for a reference using Search All, Accordance locates the main commentary passage and the 383 other times the passage is mentioned elsewhere in the commentary. Want to look at the results more closely? Double-click any module and it will open in a tool window, allowing us to navigate using the browser or the scroll bar just like normal. I'd like to address one other issue before we shift to Accordance. That's the issue of sticky menus. We've had so many Windows users shifting to Mac and Accordance, we ran into a problem. They're used to menus that automatically stay open when there's more than one choice. This behavior is called sticky menus. It's the default in Windows. We thought we'd accommodate them in version 9 by making our menu button sticky too. However, our old users were accustomed to the ease of just clicking instead of clicking and dragging, so now they're a bit frustrated. Well, we now have good news for both groups. The latest Rev 9.0.5 makes menu button behavior a preference. If you prefer the Mac standard behavior, make sure you select Suppress Sticky Menu in your preferences. With that memo out of the way, let's see Search All in action in Accordance. Before we move to looking at Search All, there are two things I'd like to address. One is, some of you noticed that the New International Bible Dictionary accidentally crept into my IVP group last week. All I have to do is to hit Command-Delete, and I can remove that from my IVP group. Click Update, and it's done. The second issue I'd like to address is the issue of sticky menus. Notice if I click this Add Text icon, it automatically stays open even though my finger is now no longer on the mouse. I have to make a selection in order for it to go away, or I can simply click again, and it disappears. The same is true with the search button. This is the kind of behavior that Windows users are used to. However, for Mac users, we'll go up here to Preferences, we'll go to Appearance, and hit Suppress Sticky Menus. And notice the difference here. If, for example, I wish to simply search for the word beginning, I can now simply click, and with a single click I can search the current text. In the same way, with a single click, I can add a text pane. That's the reason why Mac users find the absence of sticky menus to be a benefit. Well, whether your preferences for sticky menus or not, you can now control that in the preferences using Accordance 9.0.5. Now let's take a look at the difference between Accordance's Search All and regular amplification. In order to contrast the two, I've designed two custom groups. The first contains only Erdman's Dictionary of the Bible. The second contains only the two modules that make up Word Biblical Commentary. If I select Spirit and use a normal amplification, in other words, look it up in Erdman's Dictionary of the Bible, notice that I get 3 hits, each of them articles which contain the word Spirit. But those are the only 3 hits I get. If I dismiss that window and instead select Spirit and use Search All, searching exactly the same module, you'll see that I have quite a few more hits. Let's get rid of this text window so that I can expand the pane here, and you can see I have the original 3 hits, there they are, as well as 416 hits in the content of Erdman's Dictionary of the Bible, and 7 more in the bibliography. If I want to explore any of these groups in detail, all I have to do is to double-click, and it turns into a tab. I can then open that browser. Let me get rid of this pane because I'm working on such a small monitor, and I can peruse these particular references at my leisure. Now let's do that again. I'll call up a new workspace here. This time, what we'll do is search for Genesis 1:1. First, using a regular amplification, so that we go to Word Biblical Commentary, Old Testament. Notice that I have 3 hits, and I happen to be open to that section in the commentary, the first volume, by the way, that is specifically targeted at Genesis 1:1. Notice there are only 3 hits there. I'll dismiss that again. This time I'll take Genesis 1:1, and now I will use the Search All to search exactly the same commentary. Once again, because we're working with such a small screen here with the podcasts, I'll go ahead and dismiss that text window, and here you can see that I have the 3 hits I had, as well as 340 times that Word Biblical Commentary shows that particular passage in the Old Testament, as well as in the New Testament. Once again, I can page through these particular things at my leisure. That's the difference between Search All and amplification. While I've got your attention, let me also point out some differences between a regular tool window and the Search All window. Notice as I move my cursor across these various scripture references, of course, the Instant Details box gives me more information on them. In the same way, I can double-click them, and it will go to that particular reference. Now, that's not the case in the Search All window. It is inert, which means that none of those particular things work. Now, we realize that this may be inconvenient, but we want you to know that we have plans for it, and it won't stay this way for long. Accordance's Search All is unequaled in Bible software. It is simply the fastest, most thorough search available on the planet, like having your very own research assistant available at your beck and call 24/7. It's just another way we've made Accordance 9 even better than ever. This is Dr. J for Accordance Bible Software. Thank you for watching this episode of Lighting the Lamp.